This is a scene from Shrek 2, where the king, voiced by John Cleese, goes to consult the ugly stepsister Doris, voiced by US TV host Larry King.
Who's the guy?
Except, in the UK, that's not Larry King. That's British TV host Jonathan Ross.
Frankly, he don't like to be disturbed.
But why is he here? And why were a bunch of other US movie characters redubbed when they came to the UK? When we think of dubs, we often think of something translated from other languages.
Hey, who's he?
I don't know.
But sometimes we get the same language redub. For example, taking American voiceovers and replacing them with British ones.
Paw Patrol ready for action, riders, sir!
Paw Patrol ready for action, rider, sir!
This is usually to cater it to a different audience. British parents don't like to hear American voices in their children's preschool shows in case they grow up to become rootin'-tootin' cowboys. Likewise, sometimes British productions get a full redub to appeal to an American audience.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. What an unforeseeable accident.
Man, would you look at that? What an unforeseeable accident.
Even some Ghibli films, despite having English dubs, got dubbed again by Disney to add more famous names to the cast. Because they could. This is sometimes down to localization. Doing a straight translation of any language without careful rewording might have some strange results.
It might be handy if you, the master of unlocking, take it with you.
Sorry to do this, but this is a trigger warning. The next section is going to discuss a specific ableist slur, normally targeted at disabled people. If you want to skip this section completely, jump to the timecode below. Sometimes a term that's offensive in one country could be very offensive in another.
It has a starfish on the fanny?
For example, this word. Well, I'm not going to say it, but Weird Al Yankovic did.
That was sarcastic.
In the US, it's generally regarded as harmless, simply to mean erratic or clumsy. But in the UK, it's a slur for disabled people, particularly those with cerebral palsy. Popularised in the 1980s thanks to a few well-intended but naive episodes of the long-running UK kids show Blue Peter. The 1981 TV appearances of the author Joey Deacon, intended to normalise cerebral palsy and inspire, instead partially resulted in the school playground transforming the word into one of the most offensive words banned from TV or radio without strict contextualisation. Joey Deacon died that same year, with even his own name turned into an ableist slur for many years. Nowadays, the S word is seen as kind of archaic, but the Americans have no idea it remains so offensive here and often get caught out when shipping it abroad. It's appeared in Friends and Rugrats and even Mario Party, which just leads to re-edits, replacements, or redubs.
Capiche. Later, Captain Spaz.
Later, Captain Stupid.
Weird Al has always made it a point to never swear in any of his songs, so he was naturally just as shocked to learn the offence it caused, even if it was just to one country. In fact, when I saw him perform live in 2015, you know, when we used to be able to go out and socialise? The good old days. He just stopped the song before it reached that part. So, localisation is very important. Another example of transatlantic localisation is Trainspotting, because for the US, it had parts redubbed to help make... well, this...
Whatever you say, man. Sorry, you're the man, the dude in the chair.
A bit clearer for everyone. And only for the first 20 minutes because, well, if you're not into it by that point, you probably won't like the rest. Redubbed or not. A similar situation could apply to the video computer game Destiny, with the video computer game character Ghost. Originally voiced by Peter Dinklage, his performance was what some would call bad.
This is fallen territory. We aren't safe here. I have to get you to the city.
People said he sounded bored, and this is your companion for the game, so it's a lot to put up with. They tried to spruce it up with some roboty effects, but in the end they just recast him with Nolan North.
This is fallen territory. We aren't safe here. I have to get you to the city.
Bungie say it was because Peter Dinklage's schedule meant he couldn't record new lines, and if that's the case, then perhaps it's a fortuitous win-win. Maybe it was destiny, But that's an example of a same language redubbed to help solve a problem, like Jim Cummings singing parts of Be Prepared because Jeremy Irons couldn't. In Pirates in an Adventure with Scientists, which also saw a couple of cast members recast for the US, early trailers showed this scene on a leper boat.
Afraid we don't have any gold, old man. This is a leper boat.
This was understandably met with outcry from leprosy groups, pointing out that this being yet another example of an age-old stereotyping of leprosy. So, the scene got completely redubbed.
This is a plague boat, old man. I'd give my right arm for some gold.
But what about that scene from Shrek 2?
Let me clue you in.
I mean, sure, Larry King isn't exactly a voice actor.
I'm just a hedgehog. No one cares about me.
But this redub isn't fixing anything broken. In 1999, British TV host Andy Peters made a documentary called Andy Meets Toy Story. Footage is hard to find, but during this, he was offered to voice a character in Toy Story 2.
It's one line.
One line.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hold it! There's a couple more bags coming from the terminal. Hold it! There's a couple more bags coming from the terminal.
This isn't exclusive to the UK version of the film, but it started a trend.
It is such an honor to be your agent that it almost hurts me to take 10% of your winnings.
It is such an honor to be your agent. It almost hurts me to take 10% of your winnings.
So long, son. Good luck with your dastardly plans.
So long, son. Good luck with your dastardly plans. The real story should be who's coming in second.
The real story should be who's coming in second.
Like Andy Peters, in many cases, these aren't UK actors stepping into the roles. They're TV personalities, like Jamie Oliver.
I can drop by. Let's see. First opening is 3 months.
It must happen now.
First opening is 3 months.
It must happen now.
They're not there to improve any performance, as demonstrated by Kate Thornton.
Anyone has turned out to honor Princess Fiona and Prince Shrek, and oh my, the outfits look gorgeous.
Anyone has turned out to honor Princess Fiona and Prince Shrek, and oh my, the outfits look gorgeous.
And for a while at least, it wasn't purely for promotional purposes, as unlike Andy Peters, it wasn't part of some TV show at the time. They were reached out to be UK counterparts for a bit of fun, and probably some promotion too.
Good morning, Southside Reef. I'm Katie Current, keeping it current.
Good morning, Southside Reef. I'm Katie Current, keeping it current.
I'm in a Disney film. I'm a moose.
Sometimes even Australia got the same treatment.
No one knows what it is or where it came from.
No one knows what it is or where it came from.
Instead of a localized script, it was a localized appeal. Arguably started by films like Aladdin and, of course, Shrek, animated movies more and more used its star appeal as a marketing tool. So with this emphasis on national specificity, audiences would spot familiar voices, often in a movie already full of familiar voices, but for the Brits, these were our familiar voices. We can point at the screen and go, oh look, it's them from The Thing.
Watch out! Watch out! Watch out! Watch out!
For a while, this was kept to British TV personalities, but eventually it became YouTubers.
Sir, we've picked up a slight irregularity in the magnetic containment field.
Huh. Sir, we've picked up a slight irregularity in the magnetic containment field.
Huh.
While these were perfectly fine performances for relatively tiny roles, a cynical view would see this as drifting away from the UK equivalent for fun angle and more like using influencer appeal for promotional purposes. Not saying these are bad, it's just free publicity. Personally, I was conflicted on these UK alternative versions because it felt like a corruption of the supposed true version. But for many British people, this was their true version, and hearing the original American voices is wrong and weird to them. I call this a trend because while Shrek started it and Disney/Pixar embraced it, ever since Ralph Breaks the Internet in 2018...
You got it, Jackson!
You got it, governor!
There hasn't been a movie that has done the localized cameo role thing since. I've been so conditioned to this that when I heard the British TV host Graham Norton in Oh Look It's So,
best of all, bongos,
I was convinced this was another UK alternate version, but no, he's there, reminding us that he can still be an actor too. So maybe UK voices needlessly replacing US voices are a thing of the past now. Great! Now I can finally talk in my normal accent.
Core blimey, governor. You want to go back to McGav to get a chip buddy and a cheeky Nando's? Nah, mate. Not with those shoes, you wanker. That's so hard.
Sometimes making animation is a thankless task. and it can be scary to actually try learning something new.
I'm new.
So I'm grateful to the sponsor of this video, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of creative classes. Whether you want to improve your skills as a proper pro or learn something completely new. I'm still scared. Curious about photography or music or web design? Skillshare has you covered with no ads and new classes added all the time. There's a bunch of classes on animation, such as Fraser Davidson's class on character animation, how to make something walk, wave, maybe even love? No, please. Anything's possible, and for less than $10 a month. In fact, the first 1,000 people to click the link in the description will get a free trial to get a taste of that juicy premium membership. Please stop licking me.
No.
So join up on Skillshare today.
Singing killed my grandma, okay?
So I need to shout out Freddie Thomas for editing this video, to Scott from NerdSync for being my true voice, and to Thomas Tomscar Ridgewell for the idea behind this video. But also a huge shout out to those who came along to my Twitch streams and on my Discord server. Without your guys' help during the research phase, this would have been way more of an uphill struggle. So thank you very much, everyone, and if you like what I do, then please consider supporting me on Patreon.